So some good questions to ask when you are putting together a strategy are, what does winning look like? How will we know that this is working? Where specifically in the market will we play to achieve this outcome, and why?
Welcome to the Master Dealmaker's Secrets podcast. And now, here's sales growth strategist, John Blake.
Welcome to Master Dealmaker Secrets. I'm John Blake. This is episode 218. And today we're going to talk about strategy. And I have recently been quite interested in this topic because often people refer to strategy when they're not actually referring to strategy. So we'll talk about this more in a minute. If you, in the meantime, have got leads that are outstanding, you haven't converted them into paying clients, what I want you to do is head over to John Blake Audio. What you'll grab there is my training. It's exactly what I install in the clients' businesses that I work with to help them to convert those people that they've spoken to, they've made an offer to, but they haven't bought yet. So what you'll get is a 15-minute audio, walks you through the whole process. There's no fluff. We get straight to the point, as well as a PDF download. And the PDF has got my word-for-word script. So exactly what to say when you call, exactly what to write in your emails, exactly what to say if you get voicemail when you call somebody, and exactly when to call and when to email over a 90-day period. When you put this into practice, you will find that you will make a lot more sales from those people in your follow-up. It's really a way of fixing your follow-up for good. So you can get it at johnblakeaudio.com. Go grab it, put it into practice, and let me know how it goes. Okay, so what I want to talk to you about today is strategy. So, and it's really the difference between a strategy and having a plan. And there is a particularly good book about this. It was written by Roger Martin. I have recently become aware of this particular idea. And so I wanted to talk about it because, you know, we're in this world where AI is supposedly going to take over everything. And one of the things that I have found out that AI probably won't do, or it will probably not do until very late in the piece, is this whole judgment piece. You know, like this whole creative, it's the creative part of business, really. It's about, and it's, there's obviously there's some science involved and some logical thinking, but there's also an art to it. You know, there's also the ideas that you need to come up with that underpin a strategy. So anyway, there's a particularly good book written about it. It's called Playing to Win by Roger Martin. I would suggest that you get hold of it and have a look at that book. What I'm going to talk about today is a bit of a summary of that particular book. And what he talks about is the difference between a plan and a strategy. So typically a plan is a set of activities. And the set of activities you have direct control over. So it's like a list of things that you are going to do. And so a lot of people will write a list of things that they're going to do and they'll call it a strategy, but it is a lot more definable in terms of the outcome. So there is no specification as to how that will achieve an overall goal. So you might have a plan of things that you're going to do, and in most cases there is a cost to each of those things. So it might be, you know, we are going to invest in training with with some of our team, right? That would be a plan, or it might form part of a plan, but it doesn't really have an overarching outcome. And it has a cost associated with it. So it could be, you know, we are going to launch a product. We are going to invest in training. We are going to move our offices, you know, upgrade our offices. So that is effectively how planning is defined, whereas a strategy is quite different. So a strategy has a competitive outcome that you would like to achieve. And so what that typically sounds like is, here's what we believe will happen, but it involves customers. So because it involves customers and how customers may or may not react, it's not a given. It's like a hypothesis, I guess you could say. So, we want to have our customers choose our product instead of our competitors. It's impossible to predict that. It's a testable hypothesis. So it's a clear set of choices as to how an organization allocates resources to win. It focuses on delivering value to customers. It defines in detail what winning will actually mean. So what would a successful outcome look like? And it aligns strategic decisions that reinforce each other. And it really has an organization all pulling in the same direction, so headed toward a particular outcome. And it has the ability to be tested, to be learned from, and adjusted as conditions evolve. So some good questions to ask when you are putting together a strategy are, what does winning look like? How will we know that this is working? How will we know that this is working? Where specifically in the market will we play to achieve this outcome, and why? So, what is the unique value that we will deliver? What is our strategic advantage? What is our point of difference, our differentiation? What is the thing that is going to allow us to win? Because you can enter a market and have the exact same product as everyone else, but that's not really going to be something that has a high likelihood of you succeeding. So why is it that we want to play in this particular part of the market, and what is our strategic advantage, and why will our clients see that as valuable? So these days, when I'm putting strategies together, sales strategies together for clients, it's like, okay, well, what is our offer? What is our point of difference? What is the thing that is going to make our product, or in this case, your product, more attractive to your potential clients as opposed to your competitors? How can we change our messaging so that we articulate what it is that we do in a way that our clients see our product or service as an opportunity as opposed to our competitors? And then, what structures, processes, and metrics will you use to sustain and scale the strategy? So I want to give you an example of this, which comes to mind, which certainly comes to mind, as I've been making my way through this book. And it was a client that sold sunglasses in the action sports industry. And my background is actually in eyewear, so I have some fairly unique insights into this particular market, this particular industry. And what had happened is that these guys were doing really well. They were, they were quite, they had pretty good market share. And what happened is that they had a competitor that wasn't really competing particularly well with them. And so they, I guess you could say that they were beating them in the market. But what happened is that a big brand that had really, really wide distribution, it was actually a clothing brand that had really wide distribution in the action sports industry, acquired that sunglass company. And what that meant is that after they acquired that sunglass company, because they already had wide distribution with their other brand, they were able to leverage those relationships and that distribution to increase their client base. So very quickly, my client, compared to their sunglass, their competitor in the same market, were looking and going, wow, they've got so much more distribution. They are in so many more stores than us, and it's happened really quickly, and it's happened without us really noticing. So they came to me and they said, look, we need to open up more clients because we want to compete better with this particular competitor, because they have increased their client base quite rapidly, and we've only really just noticed. And so what we did is we went, okay, well, we started that question, what does winning look like? And they said, well, we want to open up 30 new accounts, sunglass accounts. And I said, well, okay, great. That's a good outcome. And then, of course, it was like, okay, well, which verticals are we going to target? Because you can sell sunglasses to surf shops, you can sell them to optical frames and sunglass stores. Where are we going to, which stores are we going to target? So we came up with a target list of people to get in contact with. So we became very clear on exactly who we were going to target. And then we went, okay, well, how are we going to do it? And so, and it was like, how quickly do we want to do it? Okay, we want to open up 30 accounts in 30 days. So we got the entire company together and we put together a communication strategy. So there was a direct mail campaign. We put together all of the messaging, direct mail campaign. Then there was a follow-up telephone call. So there was an appointment making script. And then there was a framework for what to do when the actual sales rep got to that particular target client. And within 30 days, we had opened up 30 accounts. And effectively, we had increased the account base by 25%. And so it was so successful that we went, okay, well, it was the 30 in 30 campaign. Let's turn it into the 60 in 60 campaign. So then we kept going and we were able to open up another 30 accounts, which gave my client the opportunity to actually beat the competitor because they didn't have that type penetration. So that's an example of a company that made a call, worked out what they wanted to do, worked out what success looked like, worked out what the strategy was, how we were going to track it, and then had everybody focused on that outcome. And within 2 months, we achieved quite extraordinary in terms of the result. So I hope that helps. Like I said, certainly worth checking out the book. But in terms of where we are right now, if you're planning your next year, this would be a really good process to go through. Ask those questions, get some clarity on exactly where you want to be, where you want to play, and why, and what your strategic advantage will be in that particular part of the market. And let me know how you go. I'd love to hear your success story. As always, thank you so much for listening to the podcast all year. In the next podcast, I will have a best of episode. So I will be putting that together in the coming weeks. But as always, thanks so much for listening, and I will chat to you on the next podcast. Cheers.
You've been listening to Master Dealmaker Secrets with John Blake. Subscribe to get more in-depth strategies and maximize your sales process with new episodes every other week. And double your inquiry to sale conversion with the lead flow you already have. Go to johnblakeaudio.com for his exclusive, free, no-fluff audio training and companion PDF guide.